RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, hold on. Buttons. What's up? Hey, guys, this is Tara Devlin. Unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thanks for hanging out. And we are at youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. I see the chat room filling up with the greatest patriots in American history. Well, some of them. There are patriots all throughout history. And here are some of them right in the chat room at youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. So thank you for hanging out. And let's see. I'm just checking all the buttons. So many buttons I have to push when I start the show. So let's see. We meet here on Fridays. We have a regularly scheduled Friday show at 8:30ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. And then the show is also rebroadcast on Progressive Voices. And we also have a weekday show. So this is the weekday show. I try to do a show during the week. Why can't I talk? And this is it. Sorry, I was a little late. And what else was I going to say? Thank you, Charlie at APS Radio News, who is a great supporter of the show. I was trying to get the show started a little earlier, but it just always seemed time escapes me. I apologize. I was contemplating whether to do a show or not tonight, but I don't know how long. I always say, this is what I always say though, I don't know how long it's going to be, but then it turns into a 3-hour show. But I don't know. I'm a little tired. I need to go lay down, and I'm exhausted. It's exhausting living in this country, isn't it? It's like we're constantly bombarded. So I guess I have to take my own advice. We really need to take care of ourselves and each other. So I want to say thank you to Charlie at APS Radio News for your support of the show, and also the community cats. That means a lot. And I apologize for starting the show a little later, because Charlie doesn't like waiting around. So because this show is simulcast over at APS Radio News, if possible. So I understand. We do what we can. All right, where do we begin? What did I call the show tonight? That Republicans further debase themselves for their standard bearer, who is a traitor, an outright traitor to this country. I just don't understand. That's a friend of mine contacted me yesterday, and she's like, "Are we screwed?" Because some people think that if Nikki Haley runs, somehow that's, this country will be redeemed. Nikki Haley is like the rest of them. But I do think that Joe Biden would probably have a harder time beating Nikki Haley, believe it or not, even though she's a nothing. She's a vessel. She's a tell me what you want me to say. She's not a leader. That's actually, when I think about what she said, tell me what you want me to say about slavery. That just sums it up. That sums up the entire Republican Party. What do you want me to say? But they're asking that to billionaires. What do you want me to say, billionaires? Because I'll say anything. But the people who vote for them, it's another example of they're simply duped. And in fact, let me play this video right out of the gate. So it's like, tell me what you want me to say, because what you do is make my life worse. And Republicans have never done a single thing for anybody who's not born with a trust fund. They are actively engaged. In fact, on so many levels, they harm people, they arm the entire country because they rip this country apart. And the level of lies, the lies are, it's simply, I don't know, it's endemic now. It's a pathogen in the Republican Party. They are the party of lies, which is actually, because what average people who don't pay attention to politics like we do often say is, oh, they all lie. All politicians lie. And they think somehow when they make that observation, that makes them astute, and it gives them a moral reason for not engaging in politics or paying attention to politics. But the fact is, that's not true. Not everyone lies. Not all politicians lie. People get into politics for different reasons, just like I'm sure, just like the way people are in general. We have different motivations. And many people who get into politics, they get into politics because they want to help. They want to change things for the better. And the system might change them along the way. But therein lies the problem of money and politics. But the fact is, a lot of people, they don't get in, they want to help. They're not getting into politics, for their own for their own gain, I should say. But in the Republican Party, I don't know. Show me somebody that gets into politics in the Republican Party for altruism. Show me somebody who gets into politics in the Republican Party because they want to help their fellow Americans have a decent life. We'll talk about them. They oh God, these cats are fucking driving me crazy. Buddha, stop it! Like she listens. Boudica, what are you doing? She's just a kid. What does she know? She's running around like crazy. I knew that was going to happen because she slept all day for the most part. This is her morning. So, okay, what was I saying? So Republicans don't get into politics to help people. In fact, the problem is, they're filthy liars. And let me just play this video. Let me hold on a second. Boudica. Oh my God, these people. They're cats, not people. They are people. To me, they're people. Look at these people. Now here's some poor white people at some Trump rally or after some Trump rally being interviewed. And we'll hold on. What the hell? Where's my eCam? What the hell? Hold on, guys. Here we go. Or maybe not. Here we go.
New car because a deer totaled my other one, and it just everything. The cost of everything is way too high.
And insurance, medical insurance as well. Medicare, Medicaid.
Well, fortunately, I'm on Medicare, so that helps out a lot right there. And I'm a veteran, so I've got my VA benefits.
You got your socialized medicine, and fortunately, you're on Medicaid or Medicare because, not that Republicans would do a goddamn thing for you. Republicans want to privatize Medicare. That's what Medicare Advantage is. That's Nikki Haley's plan. Means test Social Security and privatize Medicare. That's her. That's what she's talking about. But you see, I was going to say, that's what Trump talks about. No, that's not what he talks about. Trump is a liar. We know that from head to toe. Every cell in his body is a filthy lie. So, but Trump promises these morons universal health care. He promises them the policies that Republicans fight against. And we were talking about this on, I think it was the last show, how Republicans, they want socialism. They like socialism. They just don't like it when brown people get socialism. They just don't want to share with people who are different. That's what it's about. And that's why Republicans, they do everything in their power to tickle those racist funny bones and keep people divided and keep people confused. Because how confused do you have to be on Medicare, to be receiving benefits that Democrats made possible, that Democrats continue to fight for and protect from these greed centers ghouls in the Republican Party and the billionaires that they represent, and continue to how disengaged from your own existence must you be to vote Republican when you're grateful for the policies that liberals made possible, but you don't have the decency, the awareness to simply say thank you and to know who's on your side. Because the Republicans will tell them that they're being attacked, right? A caravan is coming to kill them. Brown people are coming to kill them. Brown people are taking things. And this is what, taking things from them, taking things from the poor, put upon white working class. And this is what the Republican siren song is. That it's in a nutshell, that it is, you're being assaulted by brown people. Things are being taken. You're being taxed by the Democrats because they want to take your money and give it to brown people. When what what they really want is the taxes to go to them. And why shouldn't they, really? We should all have health care, living wages, retirement security. But the Republicans pit us against each other, and they sell them lies. They have nothing but lies and racism, while, these idiots standing there saying, thank God I have Medicaid. Thank God I have the policies that Democrats continue to fight the Republican Party to protect from the Republican Party. It's unbelievable, really, but not unexpected. It's so frustrating because they get in there with racism. That's it. I mean, it's really the bottom line.
But what is Trump,
listen to
under
this
his
lady.
policies, how did it benefit your life? Are you work? Are you retired? I mean,
What can you think of? Huh? How did it benefit my life? Huh? What, are you retired? He has to jump in. How did it benefit my life? That's what I keep asking the corporate media to do. I keep begging them and imploring them to please, when they say, when you go interview these Republican voters or whatever, and one of the what's going on in these stinking stupid primaries, when you go there and you say, well, what, are you a Trump voter? And they say, yes. Well, why did you vote for the tax cheating, draft dodging, coup plotting, wannabe dictator con man with the fake university, the vitamin scam, and the convicted rapist with 91 indictments and 4 criminal cases against him, and threat to national security, who wants to be a dictator on day one? Why did you vote for him in the first place? And they say, I liked his policies. This is what they say. I like Trump's policies. And then they just move on, which I constantly implore the television screen. I'm screaming into the void saying, ask a follow-up. What fucking policies? What policies? What policies do you like? What policies did he enact that you like? What is it? It's the Muslim ban, maybe, right? You liked the fact that he funneled more money to the top in a country with inequality wider than it was in ancient Rome. Is that what you like? Because he didn't do a goddamn thing for you, for anybody but himself. He certainly enriched himself on the public dole, that's for sure. He certainly, destroyed everything he touched, destroyed the currency of truth in this country. He destroyed decency. I mean, whatever was left of it. But what policies? Oh, I like this policy. These fucking people don't know policies. They have no clue what Republican policies they're talking about. Because whenever they do talk about policies, they talk about, well, I'm glad I have my Medicaid. Right? I'm glad I have Medicaid with that Republicans are trying to privatize and take from you. And then listen to this woman here. She's a piece of work.
Disabled. I have a broken plate in my back.
I'm disabled. She's on Social Security disability. She's not quite the the age to collect Medicaid or Medicare, and she's not quite Social Security age, retirement age. I mean, she does look about 10 years older than she probably is, but she's on disability thanks to the liberals, thanks to the Democrats that made Social Security disability possible. But she doesn't have the decency, the manners, the maturity, the understanding to simply say thank you, Dems, and vote Democratic. If you're simply voting for your own interest, why are you hanging out with Republicans? Why are you voting Republican, you sucker? I mean, the people who are benefiting from Republican policies, they laugh at you. They laugh at suckers like that woman. They couldn't give a shit about her. They don't lose a minute, a second of sleep worrying about Americans who can't get health care, who are disabled and are living, cheek by jowl. They don't give a shit. They want more. They see the inequality in the country and they think it's not wide enough. It has to get wider before they can finally pull the ripcord on autocracy once and for all. I mean, the groundwork is laid. They're prepping for it. And now they have this disgusting tax cheating criminal con man, this coup in the midst of a coup. And he's out there, and they're making authoritarianism or autocracy attractive to these people. They want it. Some of them are even pining for it now. They say they want Trump to be the dictator on day one. That democracy, just like what Putin says. Putin talks about, he's open. I mean, that's why what are you going to do? I mean, he openly says that democracies don't work and points to everything that Republicans do as evidence. As he points to January 6th. They say, look at the chaos. You can't do anything in a democracy. You can't get anything done. And it's too chaotic. You need a strong man. And of course, that's what Trump wants. That's what he thinks. I mean, he talks about it. He doesn't praise democracy. He hates democracy. He praises dictators. Because he wants to be one. And these idiots are there. She's at a fucking Trump speech. What are you doing there, lady? She's at a Trump speech. What are you listening to? Some aggrieved man-child cry that everything's so unfair to him, Everything's so unfair. Poor baby. Poor little fucking baby. So poor put upon con man. It's so unfair.
Are you work? Are you retired? I mean,
I'm disabled. I have a broken plate in my back.
Thank you.
And it really bummed.
Thank you, Democrats, for allowing me to have a roof over my head. So I don't, back in the day, what would you do if you were disabled? This is the world Republicans want to drag us back to, like Oliver Twist. If you were disabled, you better hope you have a family that can take you in. And you would just be a burden to your family in that sense. And they would have to take care of you, or maybe not. Maybe go out on the street and sell apples. Sell apples on the corner. Go beg. You don't get medical care. I mean, you think you would be getting medical care too? You get nothing. You get nothing. You just hope to die quickly. Go to the church. Maybe they'll give you some bread for the day. That's what world Republicans want. But she's got Social Security disability. I don't know how. She was probably been on it for a long ass time.
Because during COVID, I was supposed to get my third surgery and have it fixed. And when the doctor, a very big specialist, went to fix it, he said, "Where's your Medicaid?" I said, "What do you mean, where's my Medicaid?" "Well, they took my Medicaid."
Who took it? Who took your Medicaid? See, she couldn't get the operation she needed. Guess why? Guess what, everybody? Can you guess? I mean, I know you're way ahead of me. Because she lives in a Republican state. And they took her Medicaid away. Right? That's what they did. She voted for that now. She voted for them to slit her throat. Do you see how sickening it is? And then she's going to complain to this guy, they took my Medicaid away? And this is, you know who that is, by the way? That's Perjury Traitor Green's boyfriend, who she committed adultery with. I mean, she is a serial adulterer. This is her latest adulterer partner in adultery. And, I mean, wait, I think tell me how the audio is. But, yeah, that's who they are. Oh, the doctor was going to give her or do an operation for her that she needed. Thank you, Democrats. And then the doctor was like, "Whoa, you don't have your Medicaid anymore," because that's what happens. And we've been reading these stories all over the country, right? Where Republicans have power and where they can, they've been not accepting the Medicaid expansion. They've been doing things, passing laws to kick people off of Medicaid so they can funnel more money into the pockets of billionaires. That's it. So they've been cutting the social safety net. They've been doing things like, just crafty little jiggering with their local Medicaid policies to ensure that people can't that they don't qualify. So I guess she was one of them. This is the leopards eating my face. Another example of someone who votes for the leopards eating faces party, being not just kind of really being clueless about she's voting for the leopards eating her face, and they ate her face. She's complaining to this privileged guy who don't have to worry about it. He don't have to worry about health care. Perjury Traitor Green doesn't have to worry about it. So they laugh at her. They laugh at that bitch. They hate her. That's what I always say about these filthy these dumbasses who vote for these filthy Republican con men and women, because they laugh at them. They're not trying to help them in any way, shape, or form. They loathe them. And that's what I always say about us, about normal people, about Democrats, liberals, progressives, normal people who we're not trying to hurt these people, you know? We're not laughing at them. I mean, I'm laughing at her for being so goddamn clueless. I'm not really laughing at her, though. I feel pity for her. I feel frustration that she's so damn dumb and easily played. But I'm not trying to take her Medicaid away. I'm trying to make sure she gets the operation she needs, that she can live in dignity. Isn't that the point of being in a rich country? We live in the richest country on earth. Shouldn't we be, do all we can to make sure that our fellow Americans have a certain standard of living? I think so. That's what being in a modern nation that, people admire, right? Like, you would think you would want to help your fellow citizens. Maybe that'll be you one day. You never know. Something happens. You get sick. You get hurt. We take care of each other. You would think. You would hope. But no, I mean, these people are so dumb. Slitting their own throats for, voting for their own demise. Why? Because somebody, they don't like someone getting gender affirming care. Or they don't like, black people. Let's just put it bluntly.
So I'm coming up here hoping.
Let me see. So she's coming up here. I think she says because she's hoping that Trump's going to do something for her. Like he gives a shit. Trump,
retired.
In his history, you would think if Trump gave a shit about the working asshole or somebody who's poor like that woman, you think there might be one story, one anecdote pointing to that. But all we have are stories of Trump going after the recipients of Social Security and trying to put them out on the street. So that's what we have, because these buildings that he would grift his way into in New York, there are a certain number of rent-controlled apartments, and part of the deal, because he's all art of the deal and all that other shit, is that you have to have a certain number of rent-controlled apartments, and some of these apartments are occupied by retirees who've been there since the 60s, and they pay very low rent. Like, you're talking like $400 a month for a two-bedroom apartment on 14th Street and 7th Avenue. So, I know somebody like that. And that's just outrageous. But where Trump, when he took these apartments, and we could play the videos. I have the videos of the stories of him trying to take these people to court, but not only that, engaging in harassment against women who were, widows, who in their 80s, who've been living in their apartment for 40 years. And here comes the con man, the filthy, disgusting, America-hating ghoul, Traitor Trump, comes swooping in. He buys the apartment building and tries to kick them out. Where are they going to go? They're 85-year-old woman on Social Security, on a fixed income. And this son of a bitch can't just wait for her to die. He wants to harass her, right? That's what not just this one woman. I mean, the entire building. That's who they are. That's who Trump is. And he's just a horrible scum of the earth. But what does that say about the people who vote for him? Well, here, let's continue with her.
I mean,
No, I'm disabled. I have a broken plate in my back. And it really bummed me.
Look at
because
his
during
face. He's like, oh, yeah, I feel your pain.
COVID, I was supposed to get my third surgery and have it fixed. And when the doctor, a very big specialist, went to fix it, he said, "Where's your Medicaid?" So what do you mean, where's my Medicaid? Well, they took my Medicaid. So I'm
Who's
coming up
they?
here hoping I can get my surgery done.
Trump, chances are he could be watching us right now from his plane. What message do you have to President Trump right now as he comes to this event?
I want a picture with you, sir. You are just, you know what? God sent him down here. I promise you.
Did he?
He's working for God.
Working for God.
Big thing in my world.
There's a big picture at play here.
It's shocking. I want a picture with you. You traitor. I want a picture with my traitorous Führer and his party of ghouls, of greed-centered ghouls who took my Medicaid away so I couldn't get my back surgery. But I just want to, I came down here, for help. Help me. It's like that traitor who, which one, right? The trans woman who went to jail because she involved herself in January 6th the treason activities of January 6th. And she's currently in jail, but they housed her initially in a men's prison. And so she was reaching out to perjury traitor Green to get her into the women's prison, because she's but she's a biological male. Why's she going to perjury traitor Green? People like her, this is what we're up against. The stupidity. Oh, sir, really, what is wrong with somebody like that? They're not too smart, that's for sure. And racism and stupidity go hand in hand. There's many studies have been done that those with low IQs gravitate, they hold racist beliefs, and they also gravitate towards conservatism. Right? It's just the facts. It's just science. And that's because conservatism is the ideology of hierarchy. And that's what people with low IQs want. They want everyone in their place. Because the world is scary and complex. And that's why they want a daddy, a big daddy, to punish people who need to be punished, right? Hurt the people that needs to be hurt, who need to be hurt, as they said, and put everybody in their place. Put everybody in their order. So, then we can have utopia. Once everybody knows where they belong on that scale, on the ladder, then we'll all be happy. Men at the top, white men at the top, of course, and women, you're just nothing. You're just a little helper, little Adam's rib, right? And everybody else, don't even think about being, your authentic self. Forget about it. You are the only thing you can be. You have freedom in as much as the constraints that they have subscribed to you or prescribed to you. Not subscribed. I'm trying to find the words. And it's that's really conservatism in a nutshell. And I wanted to play this other video. I stumbled upon this. I don't know if you saw it. It was a few months ago. I don't know if it became a viral video, but when I watched it, it's one of these videos of somebody getting arrested at an airport. You guys, I've been telling you, I've been watching the public freakout videos or whatever. It's kind of depressing. They make me a little bit depressed, but I came across this video and I was like, oh my God, this is Republicanism in a nutshell. Now, let me see if I gotta find it. Where the heck is it? It's this woman being arrested. So she's drunk. She's in an airport. An older, white woman in her late 50s. And she's doing what Republicans do when they have a couple of drinks in them. All the racism comes, the bats come out of the belfry, and they start harassing people. Here it is. And she's going around screaming at people and asking them if they're white. But you'll see.
On June 26, 2022, officers responded to a disturbance at an airport where a woman was yelling racial slurs at passengers. Here's what happened when the police arrived.
You can hear her in the background. I'm white. I'm white.
Stop. We're going out.
No, we're not.
You're not going to get rebooked. You're causing a disruption. Stop.
No, I'm not.
Ma'am.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm
You're
not.
going to go out the doors.
No, I'm not.
You are. We've gotten numerous calls.
Because I'm
People have
walking
flagged
through and
us.
saying I'm white. Because I'm walking through saying I'm a white person.
I'm a
How much
white.
have you had to drink today?
I'm walking through saying I'm white.
How much have you had to drink today?
Did you guys see
I'm
this
walking through saying I'm white.
before?
You're causing a disruption.
I can't say I'm white.
You're
What,
causing a
can't
disruption.
say I'm
We're
white.
not going to fly you.
what disruption am I
Yeah, it's all
causing?
Republicans or Karens.
You have-
Exactly. Non-useful. Who's very useful.
I'm white.
What disruption? I'm
What
white.
if I'm black?
Let me see your boarding pass.
No.
What if I'm
Did you
black?
fly in or
You see how obsessed they are with race? I mean, this is why, everything about them sucks. When you, oh God, I can't even formulate a thought because it's so outrageous. For example, when Uncle Tim Scott endorsed the con man, the racist con man, we have documents. There are documented incidents of racism in the Trump organization that were fined by the United States government for. They were engaged in a systemic, I guess, conspiracy, you would call it, to not rent to people who had darker pigment, which is a violation of their civil rights. And, this is not, fake news. It's the truth. But that's what Republicans call fake news anyway. But, and these are the people that are like, no, we're not racist. Like Uncle Tim Scott said, I'm happy, or whatever he said, it's great to finally endorse somebody who doesn't see color. That's all Republicans see. It's color. And they hide behind this bullshit story. Oh, we don't see color. Like John Roberts said, the best way to stop discriminating along racial lines is to stop discriminating along racial lines. Like by magic, right? Just by magic. And these are the people that say, oh, I'm not racist. Meanwhile, know them by their fruits. We just today, and it's been going on, how Republicans have been saying that they won't fly in planes that have black pilots because in their view, because they're racist, that the black pilot must not be good because they were put there by affirmative action, supposedly. Like they didn't qualify to be pilots. But this is who they are, and they think they're just telling it like it is. No. They're not telling it like it is. They're telling it like it was. And they want it to go back there. They want it to go back, and they're not going back to the 50s. Like I said, with Trump, they're rolling back the American Revolution. They want to go back to the king and the aristocracy and everybody else in their place. Of course, the idiots will vote for them. It's the leopards eating your face party, and they'll be like, no rights, no retirement, no benefits, no nothing, and toiling in the fields saying, hey, I didn't know the leopards were going to eat my face. But here, this woman is a piece of work. It keeps going.
What if I was black?
I don't care
what if I was black?
race you are.
What if I was black?
Well,
She's going around, she's drunk. She's going around to people saying, I'm white. Are you white? Like this, they're so irritating. Shut the fuck up, right? Shut up. Republicans, go away. They don't, no one wants to hear your shit, but that's who they are. Oh, somehow she got triggered in the airport. What if I'm white? What if I was black? Like, she thinks she's so, she's being discriminated against. That's what it's about. Like, she must have saw something that she thought, oh, well, somebody was black, and if they got something and they were black, that must mean I'm getting discriminated against, and I'm white, and that's not fair.
What if I was black?
What if?
All
What
I'm
if you
doing is
shut
saying
your
I'm
mouth?
white. I can't walk through as a U.S. citizen and say I'm white.
Now, as I was watching this,
Does it matter?
Because you're showing signs of intoxication.
No.
People don't
No,
act like
no.
this.
No. Why
As I was
would
watching
walk
this, I was
through
thinking,
and be an American citizen and say I'm
tell me you're a Republican without telling me you're a Republican, right? Who wants to bet? That's what I was thinking. Who wants to bet this woman is a Republican? How are we going to know? Well, it gets better. How can you tell? Show me a video of a Democrat acting like this. Not that Democrats don't get drunk and freak out, but they don't go around going, I'm white. Are you white? What if I was black? Like, who cares? Shut up. I'm white. I'm being discriminated against because she's been told by this party of, greed-centered ghosts of times we left in history's trash bin that she's being picked on. They're so picked on, Republicans. That's what it's about. They're victims. Everyone's picking on them. Everyone is taking away their privilege, with which they never had privilege, don't you know? That's what they tell each other. And, God forbid you try to do anything for this country, to make this country a more perfect union. If you are proactive in any way, and you try to rectify the racist-ass history of this country, not that you can erase history, but you can learn from history and try to do better. Like Nikki Haley's like, we're not a racist country. We never were. We never were. What are you talking about, Nikki? We had racial quotas for immigration, from brown countries. They weren't allowed in. What about the Chinese Exclusion Act? Or, slavery, of course. But that's, the racism is interwoven in this country. And the founders, I got to play that clip of Nikki Haley. Because it's it's right out of a kindergarten class. And the founders, they wanted us to be better. We were better. We want to be better today than we were tomorrow. It's like, are you for real, lady? Are you a grown-ass adult? Or do you just think that we aren't? We're we're such a fragile little country, right? Everyone's just so fragile. And that's what I mean, the irony is like the Republicans are like, "Oh, you're not strong and you're a snowflake." When there's no bigger, more fragile snowflake than the entire Republican Party. Little fragile, little snowflakes who can't handle the truth. They don't even want to talk about the truth. That's just too much truth. Yeah, we're not a racist country. We want to be better. We're going to be better today than we were yesterday.
Right.
You're causing people alarm, concern.
Oh.
You're causing people to move out of your way.
Oh, really? Because I'm walking through and saying I'm white? Because I'm saying I'm white? I have a privilege as a U.S. constitutional person to say I'm white.
Okay, but you don't have a
I'm
right to be
white.
intoxicated.
Privilege as a
and I can
U.S.
smell it on your
constitutional
breath.
person.
Well, you know, I'm white.
How much
You
have
know.
you had
Does it matter?
Because you're showing signs of intoxication.
No.
People don't act like
No.
this.
No.
People don't
Why
act like
can I
this.
not
They
walk?
do, though. They do. The guy's wrong. He's like, yeah, you're showing signs of intoxication. People don't act like this. Yes, they do. Yes, they very much do in the Republican Party. And now I'm sure she and her friends, when they get drunk, they sit around, this is what they talk about. I'm white. I never had privilege my entire life. There's been no privilege for me. We pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? And they'll tell themselves a story without even the awareness, without the maturity, the self-awareness to understand that, well, your daddy was in a union and he grew up and you grew up in a country that had a 35% unionized workforce, which set the ground for the other workers in the country. And it was because of that we had a time in American history called the Great Prosperity, where the rich were taxed at a 90% top marginal tax rate, and young people could go to college for free in the country. They didn't come out of college indentured servants to banksters. So, we actually invested in the working class. So she's like, I never, had anything handed to me. We worked. But they have no awareness of the system that they grew up in, or she grew up in. It's just like that woman in the Medicaid. Oh, well, my doctor, I needed an operation, and then my doctor's like, where's your Medicaid? Well, it was cut. Well, who cut it? The very people you voted for. You dumb.
Through and be an American citizen and say I'm white.
You're causing people.
They're so unbearable, aren't they?
You're causing people to move out of your way.
Oh, really? Because I'm walking through and saying I'm white? Because I'm saying I'm white?
That's it. That's all
I
it
have
is.
a privilege as a U.S. constitutional person to say
A U.S.
I'm white.
But
constitutional
you don't have
person.
a right to be intoxicated, and I can smell it on your breath.
Well, I'm white. I'm white. Are you going to arrest me because I'm white?
No, I'm going to arrest you because
I
you're
don't know what
Are you
drunk.
going to arrest me because I'm
You're an
white?
obnoxious
I've never
drunk.
said anything about that, so I don't know what your point is.
Okay, well, what is your point?
Where's your ID?
What's your point,
I
lady?
don't have to show you my ID. I'm in a
You're not going to show me your ID?
Here we go.
Are you going to give him your ID? Yes, you do. Show him your ID right now.
I'm investigating public intox.
Here comes the arrest. Yay.
Settle down.
I think we're good.
Settle down.
Excuse
What?
me.
What?
Excuse me.
Don't resist. We're done.
You're done. Oh, I wish they were all done. I wish.
Absolutely not.
What's up?
That's all we need. We need them to all be done.
This is America.
This is America.
We're a nation of laws.
Ready? I'll grab it. Let's go ahead and get her out.
Daughter, get an
Tense
abortion.
up.
Do you need me to? I think two.
She said something about your daughter getting an
Which one's too
abortion.
loose?
Of course.
Stop it.
Stop tensing up.
Stop it.
All I did was say, are you white?
All I did was say, are you white? Here, it gets worse.
All I said was, are you white?
Are you white?
Yes, we are.
Is that better?
Are you
Here we
white?
are,
Are you
being
white?
being put upon,
Let's go.
being picked on.
Stop.
With some applause.
Let's go through here. Excuse us. Walk. Stand up.
Wow.
Why?
Are you,
Why?
Are you white? Are you white?
It gets. She's out of
Are
control.
You white? Are you white? Are you white?
Can you believe
This is what
her?
happens if you ask someone
This is
if
what
you're
happens.
White. This is what happens if you ask someone if you're white. Wow. Are you white? This is what asking someone if you're white. If you're white, all I said was, are you white? Because you're not. Wow. Are you white?
Can you
Don't
believe
ask
this
someone
lady?
if you're white.
While being taken to the police car, the woman kicked one of the officers and fell to the ground.
Don't ask someone if you're white.
Yes, you're such a
Don't
victim,
ask
aren't
someone
you?
If you're white. If you're white.
Stop it. Walk.
She fell on her own. Yeah, law and order. Exactly, Haiku.
Did she kick you? Yeah.
She's kicking them.
If you're white.
Don't let her bite you. Watch your
I'm
mouth.
not gonna bite
Yeah, she'll do it once.
If you're white.
If you're white.
Yeah, go ahead.
How much brain damage must you have to behave like
Are
that?
you white? All I ask
I mean, I've been
is, are you
drunk in my
white?
life, as you guys know, but
Don't move. Put your feet out straight.
this
now.
is I mean, they can't help it. They're just racist to the core, and once you get some liquor in them, and it all comes flying out. The illness, the mental illness, is very. It's pretty shocking and sad.
Put your feet out straight. Don't move.
Shut the
Already kicked me once. We're done.
Are you white?
Listen to this.
You white? Are you white? The only thing I ask. Are you white?
Are you?
You go.
Are you white? Are you?
Can you believe this? It's psycho.
Are you white? Are you white? That's all I'm asking. Are
That's
you
all I'm
white?
asking.
The only thing I'm
She needs a
asking.
mental
Are you
hospital,
white?
a 72-hour hold, man.
Are you white?
Are you white? These poor cops are like
You.
sighing.
Are you
White. Are you white? Are you white?
Are you white? That's all I'm asking. Are you white? So anything I fucking
I need
ask,
some
are you
auto-tune.
white? Are you white? Are you white? Is the only thing I ask. Are you white? Is the only thing I ask. Are you white? God, you people don't know who the I am.
Oh, there you go. You don't know who the fuck I am.
Are you white? Are you white?
Are you white?
Are you white? That's the only question I ask. Are you white? Are you white? Are you white? Oh, I can't wait.
Sounds better with the music.
So many people. Are you white? Excuse me, are you white? Are you white? Are you white?
Yeah, this is gonna be
Are you white?
this is a banger.
Oh my goodness gracious, I think that's Mexican. Are you white?
Are you white? Are you white? It's a hit. Are you white? Are you white? Are you white? Are you white? Are you white?
We know them personally. Can't wait. Can't wait.
If you bite him, you're gonna be charged. Lift your head up. Lift your head up. Lift your head up.
All right, it gets better. Let's fast forward a little bit.
God, I said black. I said the word black.
She starts screaming about black.
What are you doing about the black assholes.
What are you
who
doing
walking
about the?
around.
What did she say? What are you doing about the black assholes around here?
Every one of you. I am so sorry that I am a beautiful white person and said, are you white? I'm so sorry.
I am so sorry. I'm a beautiful white person that said, "Are you white?"
OMG. OMG.
OMG,
God, what
I'm
are you doing
white.
about the black assholes who are walking around? Oh.
Did you hear that? What are you doing about the effing black assholes who are walking around and then she cut off.
Oh, I said black. Oh, God, I said black. Oh, my God, I said black.
This is another
I said
remix.
Black. Black.
I said black.
Black.
What a sick bitch.
Black.
No, another totally not racist Republican.
Oh, my God.
This is who Republicans appeal to.
I said the word black. Oh, my God. I said black. I said the word black. I said the word black.
These poor
You're beating
people.
the shit out of me. Black. Black. This is because I'm not black.
Oh, that's
hey,
it.
lady,
Yep.
I'm not black.
Hey, shut your mouth.
Hey,
Stop.
I'm not black.
Enough.
No, I'm not black. I'm not black. I'm white.
It's crazy. I wonder where she is now. She is a Texan. In fact, Jim, this is at the Texas airport. You're 100% right.
My grandfather is black, so you need to say my grandfather is black.
My grandfather is black. I doubt it.
My grandfather is black.
Now they come, the EMTs come. Yes, she must be fun at parties. Exactly, Matt. Could you imagine those parties? Where they're like, "Are you black?"
Soon after, medics
Are
attempted
you
to assess the
white?
woman's condition.
All I said was, I'm not a white person.
All I said was, that's all I said. I was just standing there saying, "Are you white?" I did nothing.
All these people.
Here, look at your eyes.
Wow, where is, where?
Look at my face.
They're fine. They're fine. My eyes are fine.
Trying to see if she hit her head or something.
My eyes are fine.
Okay, but you didn't take anything? You didn't do anything
No, I
wrong?
did not.
Okay, you know where you're at right now?
Yes, I'm at the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
What?
What day of the week is it?
It is Saturday. Ole Miss won.
Okay.
Ole Miss won. You have another question for me?
Sure, what's going on?
What is going on? Look around.
What's going on? Look around.
I was walking through the airport.
Okay, walking through the airport.
Okay, I was walking through the airport. Sorry, I was walking through the airport. And you know what I said? You know what I said?
And I said,
What'd you say? Hey, don't kick me. Don't
"Are you white?"
I'm not. I'm not going to kick you. I'm not going to kick you.
Late.
I swear
That's
to
good,
God, I
Jim,
will not
on the
kick
chat.
you.
Ma'am, you have late stage
You know
terminal
what I
racism.
said?
No, what'd you say?
I said,
We're good.
you don't have to wear your mask.
Oh yeah, she was
I
telling
live
people,
in Mississippi.
you don't have to wear your mask.
I'm a Republican.
What?
I'm a Republican.
Oh, what? Who? What a shock! Did you hear? She admitted it. That's why I was like, tell me you're a Republican without telling me you're a Republican. And there she goes. I'm a Republican. No kidding, lady. No kidding. I'm shocked.
I live in Mississippi.
Can you give me a...
I am a Republican. I'm a Republican.
It's right there, it's
I'm
there.
a Republican.
Of course you are.
I'm not gonna kick you.
You better not.
I'm not, because you can hit me like my husband hits me.
No, we don't do that.
Yeah. Will you ask him
She
to
said
take
her
his
husband
hands
hits
off
her.
of me? Will you ask him to take his hands off of me?
Good old family values in the Republicans. They must get drunk and really go at it. All right, so it goes on.
Said, no, God, no! Wait, because I don't want to pay $3,000.
That cuff to this side. You want to cuff that arm. Yeah.
All right, so they're wrapping her up.
You want to do
You're gonna touch my husband, so I'll be beat. So.
It goes on. Wait, we'll see.
Same things.
Do you want to look up the fact that I got beaten? Do you want to look up the fact that my husband? Look up my records.
Hey, listen to the paramedic.
Look up my record.
Listen to the
and
They
paramedic.
blurred it.
no,
The cops blurred it.
Look up my record, and he beats the ever living shit out of me. Look
sad.
me up.
Ma'am.
Just why won't you even look me up?
Ma'am.
Why won't you even look
Sick
me up?
bunch of
Listen to the paramedic.
Cynthia.
people,
Look me up.
really.
You to relax. Cynthia, so he can start interviewing.
Look me up.
Scoot back.
Look me up,
Are you
yeah.
black?
Are you black? Here we
Did
go.
you ever parent was black?
I do not.
My grandfather was black.
Oh, really? My grandma's Japanese.
Oh, you're white, so you're privileged.
Just take a nap.
You see here? Oh, you're white because you're privileged. Yeah. I mean, this is the poison that they've been spewing and pouring into this woman's head. People like her. They're sick. What do I say all the time? That they're fundamentally effed up. And they lack the fundamental maturity, decency. I mean, it's mental illness that they exploit these people. Like, this woman doesn't need a con man constantly whispering this poison into her ears. You know, she's already suffering enough, right? She lives in, I can't imagine the pain that this woman lives in general, and that she needs the Republican Party to make it worse. They're not helping her. They're just giving her more crap for her to hang her psychosis on. And it's like political malpractice. And it's another example of them, how much really they're not patriots. You don't do this to somebody. She's clearly fucked up. And there it is. It manifests as this racist tirade. But where's she getting it from? She wouldn't, I'm sure she's mentally ill, but she wouldn't, maybe in a kinder, gentler, more compassionate society, she would get the help she needs and not have to listen to con men talk about how, she's being picked on because she's white.
Oh my God, you're white, so you're privileged.
Take a nap.
You're privileged.
Oh, yeah.
Sickening. Nice day at the airport,
Okay.
Cynthia.
Fair enough.
This is what you get when you're. Sorry, I'm a Republican.
You hear her? That's why I was like, this is a typical Republican. She stirs up problems. She harasses people. She's screaming, "Are you white? Are you black? Are you white? This is what happens when you're white." And then by the time she gets to the hospital, she starts weeping. This is what happens when you're a Republican. Yep. What do I say all the time? That they lack the fundamental maturity, decency, or, in this example, mental health to, take responsibility for themselves. It's not what happens when you're a Republican. They're so picked on, aren't they? It's so emblematic of this party that they create problems and then they're like, "Oh, I'm being picked on because I'm a Republican." And I've seen other clips of freakouts where there was someone, I think I was telling you, they were on a plane and they were getting kicked off the plane because of their antics. You know what you have to do to get kicked off a plane? You have to be an asshole. You have to be drunk. You have to be a danger to yourself. The pilots kick you off the plane because they don't want to deal with your shit when everyone's 50,000 feet in the air. So they have the absolute right to kick your ass off the plane if they suspect in any way, shape, or form that you're going to be a problem once the plane takes off. So I guess these people are caught in the act of being themselves, Republicans, and they got kicked off the plane. And as they were being kicked off, they started to scream, "This is what happens. This is because we're Trump supporters." That's what they were saying. No, it's not because you're Trump supporters. It's because you don't know how to behave. And people, when they said, "Oh, this is because we're Trump supporters," the rest of those on the plane were like, "Get out of here, boo," you know. They just don't want to take responsibility. Everyone is picking on them. They're being targeted. If only we just sit back and allow Republicans to run rampant over our society, and that's really what they want. Like with Twitter, how they turn Twitter into a cesspool, how they turn our public discourse on social media platforms into a cesspool. That's what they want. They want to be ugly and act horrible, and act with disrespect and indecency to others, to call people names, to vilify, to call people racial slurs, misgender people, just be complete assholes. And they don't want any blowback. They want just to be able to do what they want to do, like babies, and have no repercussions. We're not supposed to have a reaction to them. So she creates this entire situation where I don't know, I didn't count all of the firemen, cops, EMT that were there. It was like over 12 people. And now they're at the hospital. You have the doctors and the nurses all attending to her mental illness. And she starts crying. This is what happens when you're a Republican.
So we're gonna stay out of their way. Okay. Anytime she sees one of us, she's gonna.
Fair enough.
This is what you get when you're. Sorry, I'm a Republican.
I'm sorry I'm a Republican. We are too, honey.
I didn't do anything wrong. Jacob, I didn't do anything wrong.
Is this not typical?
I didn't do anything except have several beers.
I didn't do anything.
I
didn't do anything wrong. This is what happens when you're a Republican. Poor baby.
Sorry if I asked you if you were black.
It's fine.
Sorry, I asked you if you were
I
black.
asked you if you had black in your family. I said my grandfather was black.
Hey, we're trying to help you.
This is what happens to me.
Can you believe this? It's insane.
A pretty white person.
A pretty
Oh,
white
my God.
person.
Oh my God.
This is what happens.
Everybody, they're black.
Hey,
Here she goes.
we're doing good.
I'm white. I'm white. Excuse me. I'm f***ing white.
Yep, we see that.
Yeah.
These poor doctors and nurses.
Yeah, you're fat too.
She calls somebody fat.
Is it
Real
not?
nice person, right?
Oh, I can't wait.
She's a Christian too, I'm sure.
Hey, it happens if you get fat, and I'm not fat, and I'm 59. How old's your mother? What does she
Aren't
look
they
like?
lovely people?
What does your mother look like? Oh, she's black.
Then the nurse said, she said, "How's your mother?" She goes, "She's black."
Like I said.
This is what happens when you're a Republican. This is what happens. Poor baby, right?
Jacob, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, nobody's saying that. We're just saying we're here to help
I didn't do any drugs. I didn't do anything except have several beers.
Concern?
Are you what? Anyway. Are you what? How many bad decisions must you make until you find yourself in the Dallas, Fort Worth, whatever airport being dragged away by cops screaming, "Are you white?" Like it matters. I mean, these people. This is what I'm talking about. They are sick, and we all have to deal with it. And that's Republicans. We have to live in the consequences of Republican policies with people who can't get the help they need. They clearly need. And, you know, if Democrats had our way, if normal people had their way in this country, she'd be able to go and go to the doctor, you know? Go get her mental health checked out. Except we live in this this screwed up country where, you know, it's every man for himself, basically. And this woman has been listening to poison. That's what the Republicans do. They poison people. Like, let's play this Nikki Haley thing, which really irritates me. She's another one. This is Nikki Haley talking to Jake Tapper about racism in, America's racist-ass history that doesn't exist, to Nikki Haley.
Ask you about a comment you made earlier this week. You said that America has, quote, never been a racist country, unquote. Protections for the institution of slavery were written into the U.S. Constitution. The White House was built with slave labor. Your home state of South Carolina seceded from the Union, fought a war to defend the enslavement of black people. I understand you don't think America's a racist country now, but we're here at a college. Do you really think as a historical matter, America has never been a racist country?
I mean, think about what you're saying. First of all, I will tell you, when you look at, the Declaration of Independence, it was that, men are created equal with
men. Yeah, bitch, men. Women were nothing. I mean, we've talked about it on the show. Women were nothing but property. Men. Oh, well, that's okay, right? But they were, they wrote some pretty forward-thinking words in our founding documents, but they didn't practice it. And we certainly had a long history of racist policies in this country that we are still living in the repercussions today. Like the intergenerational wealth of black families as opposed to white families. So I wish somebody would ask them that question. Ask Nikki Haley why the wealth of black families is $5,000, whereas, we're talking about the intergenerational wealth that they pass on. It's on average $5,000, whereas white families, the intergenerational wealth is $100,000. Explain that one, Nikki.
Alienable rights, right? That was what we all knew.
We all knew inalienable rights.
What I look at it as,
what do you look at it
I was a brown girl
that
grew up in a small rural.
Is she brown? Does anybody? I mean, they all embrace this bullshit. The anecdote. The argument by anecdote. Well, I was able. I was a brown girl, and I had this experience. So that simply means that it's this experience that all should have. And if you don't have that experience, then you weren't raised right. You are a victim. You think of yourself as a victim. I mean, this is what they're saying, because there's nothing wrong with the system. That's the message. It's not the system, it's you. So don't worry about the system. Don't think about fixing the system, the kiss up, kick down system. that where the income gap between rich and poor went where we went from the least upwardly mobile and the slightest income gap to the widest income gap. But don't think about that. Don't think about the policies. Think about, you're the one. You're the one holding you back. Just do The Secret or something. Visualize yourself. Visualize yourself in a country that, doesn't see race. That never existed. It never existed. It's only you. You're the one.
Town. We had plenty of racism that we had to deal with.
Really?
But my parents never said we lived in a racist country.
And what I don't understand the point of what she's talking about. I don't know what parents say that. We live in a racist. I mean, she's also. It's such a cop out. Everything that she says, it's hard to explain because it's nothing but word salad anyway. My parents, I was a little brown girl, and but my parents didn't say I was a little brown girl, and we didn't live in a racist country. I mean, does anybody even know what the fuck she's trying to say?
I'm so thankful they didn't, because for every brown and black child out there, if
How
you
dare
tell
you?
them they live or
Nobody tells.
born
I
in a
mean, people are telling their children the realistic remedies or realistic ways to navigate in the world. They have a conversation. If you have darker pigment, then this is how you behave. If a cop pulls you over, I don't have to worry if a cop pulls me over if I'm going to get shot. So, there's different. I mean, I don't know. I live in this skin. I don't live in brown skin. But, I mean, what the hell is she trying to say? I'm so glad my parents didn't tell me I live in a racist country. Well, first of all, being an Indian it's a little different than being an African American. So, there's no specific laws against, Indians. There wasn't people of Indian descent weren't excluded from the GI Bill, so to speak. For example, I should say. There wasn't a redlining concerning people of Indian descent. But they want to pick up the mantle of the oppressed in order to what? This is what Republicans do. Whenever it's convenient, they'll pick up the mantle of the oppressed in order to give cover to the oppressor. But mommy, I learned in school today I'm an oppressor. I don't want my children coming home thinking they're oppressors or oppressed. This is how stupid these fucking Republicans have dragged the conversation down into stupidity. Just complete stupidity and word salad.
Racist country. You're immediately telling them they don't have a chance.
No, that's not true, you dumb bitch. That is not true. Saying we live in no one says this is where we have to address the reality of the situation. Like I said, if we have a system that is, the examples of which are that we have African American wealth is, 95% lower than, what am I saying? I can't even, I sound like Nikki Haley trying to get a word out. But that's the result of the system. Or are you saying African American families or families with darker pigment don't work hard enough? I guess that's what you're saying. I mean, we live in a system where we fund education through property taxes. That's a deliberate racist policy that I wish somebody would address. No one addresses that. I never hear anything about that. They all, we hear about good schools and bad schools when there should be no good schools and bad schools. I mean, all of this was designed through policy. That's why we have ghettos. You have certain areas that are systemically kept down. They don't have resources. They don't have access to resources. They were deliberately cut off from these resources. And then you have schools in those areas where there's no because schools are funded through property taxes. The schools don't have funding for basic things to educate young people. So that's racism right there. I mean, it's unbelievable how these Republicans, they count on the stupidity of their voters, of course, but they also count on them, to buy into this bullshit, like that woman. Are you white? Are you white? You're privileged. Well, why don't she, get a clue, for fuck's sake.
Parents would always say, you may have challenges. And yes, there will be people who are racist.
This woman.
But that doesn't define what you can do in this country. And so I think it's important that we tell all kids that, look, America is not perfect. We have our stains. We know that. But our goal should always be to make today better than yesterday.
Oh my
it's
God,
hugely
you
important.
child.
And that's the problem I have is we have too many people with this national self-loathing. It is
Who
killing
has a
our
self-loathing?
country.
Fuck
we have
you.
got to go.
This is what really pissed me off, too. It's a national self-loathing. If we talk about the problems that we face, it's not national self-loathing, bitch. It's called trying to make the today better than yesterday, you dumb fuck. I mean, how do you think that's going to happen? By, just wishing it? I guess that's what they think. We all will just sit back and be like, we're going to visualize it. We'll visualize, we'll use The Secret. And we'll visualize today is better than yesterday. There is no national self-loathing. Does anybody know about national self-loathing? Have you heard of this? But what they're trying to say, what she's trying to say is that if you bring up any challenges that we face as a country, that's national self-loathing. We're all supposed to be, I guess, what? That's not patriotism. How do you make today better than yesterday if you don't talk about the issues that you face without being told you're being you just hate America? That's what they want us to, I guess, stick our heads in the sand and put on a goddamn a shirt with an eagle on it, because that's patriotism. Shirts with eagles and stars.
Back to loving America. We are blessed.
Fuck off.
Because that little brown girl.
Oh my God, it's so grating. We are blank. The constant words. She might as well be this bitch yelling, "Are you white?" in an airport. I'd rather listen to her.
Lived in a racist country. And I'm so thankful they didn't. Because for every brown and black child out
dare
there,
you.
if you tell them they live or were born in a racist country, you're immediately telling them they don't have a chance.
How dare you?
And my parents would always say, you may have challenges. And yes, there will be people who are racist. But that doesn't define
it's all
what
about
you
the
can
person.
do in this country.
It's not the policy. Don't think about the policies that the racist policies in this country. Don't think about the fact that the African American soldiers that came back from World War II couldn't get homes using the GI Bill. They were barred from buying houses with GI Bill benefits. Don't think about that. And that's why African American families didn't have anything to pass on to their children. Oh, they could get into public housing. That's what they were allowed to do in the GI Bill. Unbelievable. But that's, racist ass policies that were built right into the system to keep people apart, to keep people. We literally had segregation in the country for years. I was born and there was still segregation. It ain't that long ago, but it's so offensive listening to this sophomoric palaver.
And so I think it's important that we tell all kids.
What's with this
that,
important
America
shit?
is not perfect. We have our stains. We know that.
We
But
know
our goal
it, but
should
we won't
always be
say it.
to make today better than yesterday. It's hugely important, and that's the problem I have is we have too many people with this national self-loathing. It is killing our country.
Oh, how dare you!
We have got to go back to loving America.
Is that what's killing the fucking country? What's killing the country are Republican policies. Republicans are killing the country. Republicans like you, Nikki Haley, who say on one day that we were wrong to follow Trump, and on the next day that you will endorse him and vote for him if he's the candidate, right? If he's the Republican goddamn candidate for the so-called presidency, although he's in the midst of a coup. That's what's killing the country. What's killing the country is the big lie that you can't call out. Oh, there is anomalies. I keep talking about these fucking anomalies. There were anomalies? No, there were like in the election. No, there were no anomalies that weren't created by the Republican Party. People had questions about the election because you put it in their stupid heads. You put it in that dumb bitch's head. And she got her ass arrested at the airport, screaming, are you white? Because we all got to live in the consequences of Republican policies, right? You want to take an airplane somewhere. You got to sit in an airport. You got to listen to some dumb bitch screaming about, she's a Republican and she's being picked on because she's not allowed to scream, are you white, and inflict her manias on us all. But they all inflict their manias on us. This is all mania. It's all this fake ass bullshit, fairy tales that show yet again that they are unfit. You're not fit to hold a leadership position in a modern nation if you can't even address the nation's problems. And don't tell me there's national self-loathing. How dare you? Because what they're trying to say is that if you even say anything, if you point out anything that needs to change, then you're just hating America. I've heard that before too from these people, but they want it because they want to silence. They want to silence change. They want to make sure change doesn't happen, that there's no, making tomorrow better. Fuck tomorrow. They hate tomorrow. They want to make tomorrow an authoritarian hellscape. They want to make tomorrow filled with a bunch of traitors squeezing you into a door and screaming, "Hang Mike Pence," as you're trying to protect the country's peaceful transfer of power. That's the national self-loathing that they have cultivated. They made that world. They hate this country. They hate the constitutionally limited democratic republic. They are voting for a freaking con man who says he wants to cancel the Constitution and wants to be a dictator on day one. Don't tell me. Nikki Haley, are you kidding me? How quickly is she going to drop out and endorse the con man? That's going to happen. Oh, we're all this national self-loathing has got to stop. Fuck you. You hate this country? Who hates this country more than somebody that wants an outright traitor, an unfit con man who received fewer votes but isn't man enough to admit it? You know, it was good enough for George Washington, the peaceful transfer of power, but not for Donald fucking Trump, your Lord and Savior. So, who hates the country more than somebody like that, who votes for that and wants it again? Not only they voted for the first time, they want to vote for it now, knowing everything they know. They fall in line and lie. I mean, Nikki Haley, she said it herself. We were wrong to follow Donald Trump. Then it was, oh yeah, I'll vote for him. She's full of shit. They are all full of shit. This national self-loathing. Who hates this country more than somebody than a party, somebody in a party, a racist party, who won't even embrace democracy? You know, they do it. If she embraces democracy, she's doing it as a show. Because what does she say about the big lie? What does she say about the assault on the citadel of democracy? What does she say? You know, I mean, all of them about this liar Trump, who is poison. He's poisoning the country. Not people who want to make the country better today than it was yesterday. How dare she? This national self-loathing. Who has more self-loathing than somebody who won't even admit to the problems we face? Who has more self-loathing than somebody who, well, think about all the idiots who vote for their own demise. That takes a special kind of self-loathing. Like that woman who's on Social Security disability and suddenly Republicans took away her Medicaid, so she can't get the help she needs. And she's like, oh, Donald, I want to take a picture with you. Dumb. And who has more self-loathing than that? That takes a real special self-loathing.
Are blessed because that little brown girl in that small rural town in South Carolina, she grew up to become the first female minority governor in history. She then went on to be UN ambassador, and now she's running for president of the United States. I want every brown and black child to see that and say, no, I don't live in a country that was formed on racism.
What is she fucking talking about? Of course it was formed on racism. In fact, the founders knew that it was going to come back and bite us in the ass. They knew that. They knew it was a problem. Even though they owned slaves, they owned other human beings. Jesus Christ. You know, structural racism has contributed to persistent racial disparities in employment, in wealth, in general, that leads to economic inequality. That's racism. That's systemic racism. It's not, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's what Republicans say, you know. That's what they sell. Bootstraps and bullshit. Discriminatory housing policies we're talking about that have historically limited minority groups' access to home ownership. I mean, outright. Of course, health care. Right? There's been historic disparities in a health system that has been founded, you know, through studies. I guess, you know, those damn liberals wanted to understand what was going on so we could make it better tomorrow. Studies showing that healthcare, in general, the healthcare system was found to abuse non-white people, leading to health inequalities. Yeah, racial discrimination. Can you believe it?
live in a country where they wanted all people to be equal
Policing,
and to make sure that they
the
have
criminal
life,
justice
liberty,
system.
and the pursuit of.
What about the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? What about the incarceration rate in the country of black people in prison? You know, the prison pipeline, or whatever they call it. Yeah, this land of the free. They have all the opportunities. Except, in the Republican fantasy land.
Happiness.
Okay, but just to
Pursuit of happiness. Oh, yay! I need something to masturbate to. Say
You're talking about the
Republicans,
ideals
not
of
me.
America. But America was founded institutionally on many racist precepts, including slavery.
But when you look, it said all men are created equal. I think the intent.
But it's sad. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard come out of the mouth of somebody who pretends to be a leader. I think, but it's sad, Jake. It's sad all men are created equal. But I think the intent, are you kidding me? No, the intent was written by people who were, blinded to the fact that when they talked about all men, they meant all white men. It was an unconscious bias. They weren't talking about anyone with darker pigment, because if a man was a white man, you see, I mean, they're such babies. I cannot take it.
The intent was to do the right thing.
But
now,
it was?
Did they have to go fix
the
it along?
The intent was to do the right thing. What's the right thing to people who are owning slaves? Or owning people, I should say. Enslaving people. You know what? We're going to write it this way, but we want to do the right thing. Everybody thinks they're doing the right thing. They wanted to do the right thing. Look at what they wrote. You're reading it with your eyes of the 21st century, but they thought they were doing the right thing. Owning other human beings. They didn't let them go, even though they knew it was a problem, that it would come back and bite us in the ass. They didn't let them go. George Washington hounded the enslaved people that escaped his clutches, and he hounded them. He wasn't going to let them go. I mean, for God's sake, they talk when this is Republicans. I'm sure they would. George Washington had wooden teeth. No, he didn't have wooden teeth. I can't talk. He had teeth of enslaved people in his mouth. They pulled the teeth of enslaved human beings and put it in George Washington's mouth.
Way? Yes, but I don't think the intent
bitch.
Was ever that we were going to be a racist country.
Are you a dumb bitch? Yes, she is. I don't think the intent was ever going to be that we were going to be a racist country. They didn't think of racism. It was not racism to them. It was just the way it was. It was the way it is. When someone who owns other human beings can write, all men are created equal, endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, they weren't talking about anyone who wasn't white. Jesus Christ, this woman.
Was everybody was going to be created equally. And as we
everyone
went through
is created.
Time, they fixed the things that were not.
Get the fuck
all
out of
men are created equal. They made
they
sure women became equal too. All of these things happened over time.
Women became equal. They were always equal. It just wasn't recognized. Women became equal. How did they become equal? How did they fix it? They fixed it along the way. They're like, okay, now we're going to fix the women thing. No, they fixed it through fighting and dying and pushing and standing up to the oppressor. Are you kidding me? Women went to jail. Women died. Women went on hunger strikes. You stupid sophomoric child. Women, they were like, now we're going to fix this. Now we're going to make women equal. See? Now, who's next, Nikki? Who are we going to make equal next? Except we won't, right? Because everything's can't fix perfect. National self-loathing. Don't want to fix, don't want to talk about it. Are you white? Are you white?
I refuse to believe that
you
the
refuse.
premise of when they formed our country was based on the fact that it was a racist country to start with. I refuse to believe that. I have to know
it's so
in my heart
painful.
and in everybody's heart.
I have to
that
know.
We live in the best country in the world, and we are a work in progress.
Who the fuck says? I mean, I have to know in my heart that we live in the best country. Well, obviously, you're living in fantasy land because there are countries all over the world that do it better than we do. Well, I mean, let's talk about healthcare. We pay more, get less, leave millions out, millions go bankrupt. I don't know. Is that the best? That's the best country? Well, how about education? People all over the world go to school. They invest in their young people or those who want to get a higher education. They don't come out as indentured servants to banksters. Is that the best? Is it the best to not educate your young people, not invest in the future? That's the best. You can't fix perfect. That's what they're saying. I refuse, exactly, Terry on the chat. I refuse to see reality. I refuse to say what's real. And this national self-loathing means don't ever question my babyish point of view. Now we're going to make people equal. And then they said, okay, in the beginning, we'll just say all men. And then a little bit down the road, we'll get to you women. We'll get to you ladies eventually. And then they were like, okay, women are equal now. Get the, I mean, God, how, bitch? Because if let's go back, making women equal, what side of the, making people equal, the fixing things, were the conservatives on? Were they all for, women getting the vote? Please, women still aren't equal. Republicans, conservatives, they stand in the way. Equal rights amendment, right? We still don't. Because they're afraid that women, will get too uppity. And I remember the ERA amendment that, of course, all these self-loathing females stood in the way of. Like Phyllis Schlafly, even though she was out there every day, she had a job and she wrote books and she went around telling women to, get in their place. But this is who, oh, God. I refuse.
A racist country. The intent was everybody was going to be created equally. And as we went through time, they fixed the things that were not.
Can you believe
all men are created equal? They made sure women became equal too.
They fixed it. It's now we're all fixed, thank God. As through time, they all fixed it, everybody. How? They fixed it. And then she's talking to somebody. Jake Tapper says, I have a history degree. So he knows a little bit about history. And then he's up against this. And then they fixed it. I feel like I'm listening to a 12th grader. And then they went through time and everybody fixed it. Because, when you go to college and you learn about history and you study things. If you try to get away with that, try to give a presentation in front of the class, a historical presentation, and go, you know what? They fixed it. You would fail. You would fail the class. Well, Nikki, get up here and give us your oral report on the history of racism, racist policies, or America. Let's do it this way. Is America a racist nation? You ready, set, go.
Because that little brown girl in that small rural town in South Carolina, she grew up to become the first female minority governor in history.
Yes.
She
I
then
am
went on
the exception that proves the rule. Arguing by anecdote is the Republican way. Give me an anecdote. You know, one guy I saw, this is all they do. When they have something they want to, they want to stoke fear. Remember how that filthy Republican, I mean, I know I repeat myself, but how he was saying how in school they actually had to bring litter boxes into the schools because some of the kids identified as cats. Remember that? Because another way of bashing trans people, it's just saying that, oh, we just identify as cats or dogs or frogs or moths or, you know. So they had to bring litter boxes into the school, which is, of course, nothing but bullshit. I refuse to believe anything that is real or true.
Be UN ambassador, and now she's running for president of the United States.
Oh, there's that anecdote. Oh, anecdote. You're not the first woman of color to run for president of the United States. That was Shirley Chisholm, right? Shirley Chisholm. So, of course, I don't know anything about that, right, Nikki? Because you just read history books that were written for the 8th graders, it sounds like.
I want every brown and black child to see that and say, no, I don't live in a country that was formed on racism. I live in a country where they wanted all people to be equal. To make sure that they had life.
They wanted it all. They wanted it all. The founders wanted all people to be equal, even though they didn't put that into the founding documents. They wanted it in their hearts, right? Just in their little hearts, even though they had other human beings. They enslaved other human beings, and women were nothing. They had no rights. I mean, in my lifetime, women couldn't get credit cards. They couldn't get bank loans. It was like all these ways to keep women from running away from their husbands. That's what it was about. Especially if they were abusing, if they were in an abusive relationship. You had no options. You couldn't open a bank account in your own name. You couldn't get a credit card without a man signing for you. That's, the founders knew that, though. They said we were going to fix it. In the early 70s, we would fix it. We would let women have credit cards in the early 70s. And let women open bank accounts without a man's approval.
And the pursuit of happiness.
Okay, but just to...
Oh, my God. What a goddamn...
Just to push back a bit, because I was a history
bullshit.
major in New Hampshire. You're talking about the ideals of America. But America was founded institutionally on many racist precepts, including slavery.
But when you look, it said all men are created equal. I think the intent was to do the right thing.
You think wrong.
Now, did they have to go fix it along the way?
The intent was to do the right thing. The intent, everybody. I think... You may be a history major, but I think I could read the minds of these not ancient, but old men, hundreds of years ago. And they they had the intent to make everything equal. Look at me, I'm brown, and I'm running for president. What does that mean? That means nothing is wrong here. Nothing to see. Nothing to see. Move along. You can't make it. You can't run for president. Well, fuck you. You're not trying. It's not the system. It's you. The system's perfect. Don't fix the system. In fact, as Republicans, we want to rip the system out, root and branch, and put in this goddamn con man, this autocrat. But, we'll fix that later, too. They want to fix it.
Yes, but I don't think the intent was ever that we were going to be a racist
so embarrassing.
Country. The intent was everybody was going to be created equally. And as we went through time, they fixed the things that were not all men are created equal. They made sure women became equal too. All of these things happen over time.
Isn't this embarrassing?
But I refuse to believe that the premise...
All of these things, like my word salad, it happens over time. I refuse to believe. She won't even take a breath to let him get a word in edgewise. Not that he's going to get a word in edgewise. He should just say to her, listen, you sound stupid. You sound malinformed. You sound ill-informed, and now you're malinforming my audience with this saccharine bullshit. We're Americans, right? We're adults. We're all adults here. We're capable of grasping that, not everything was perfect, and that and because one woman of color can run for president doesn't mean that we're past the issues that we face. It means that, it's good for you. But that is how these Republicans have operated, for time immemorial. For conservatism has operated like this. Well, look at this guy. Look at, he's rich. Look at, they used to point to Sammy Davis Jr. Well, Sammy Davis Jr., he was rich. And he lived in this Jim Crow United States. So we must not be racist. Or they gave an Oscar to to the black actress who was in Gone with the Wind. So that means there was no racism. There's no segregation. No Jim Crow laws. No anti-miscegenation laws, which were still on the books well into the 20th century. Unbelievable. How about the laws, not just Jim Crow, in Mississippi, there was a law in 1890 that continues to this day to have discriminatory effects, blocking thousands of black people from voting. Let me show you this one, Nikki. The racist 1890 law that's still blocking thousands of black Americans from voting. Mississippi officials, let me see. Let me just do the, instead of reading, because I'm looking at the time. Let me do a bit of a summary. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on.
Of when they formed our country was based on the fact that it was a racist country to start with.
I refuse. Okay, so the 14th Amendment to the Constitution in 1868 granted African American citizenship rights, but they still faced barriers to voting. The 15th Amendment, passed in 1870, prohibited the denial of voting rights based on race. But black voters were still systemically turned away from state polling places. This is in Mississippi. in 1890, Mississippi adopted a new constitution with a poll tax and arbitrary literacy tests designed to disenfranchise African Americans and, believe it or not, poor whites. You see, this is what they still do. Of course, I'm sure at the time they were turning the poor whites against the African Americans that had more in common with each other than they do with the, those at the top that were telling them all this bullshit, all this racist ass bullshit, right? That's the thing that we've been dealing with forever. How they turn working people against each other along racial lines to keep that group, like the idiot woman, we played, not the Are You White woman, her too, but the woman who was saying she's on disability and that her health care was taken away by Republicans. She's been turned against, I'm sure, through racism. She's afraid brown people are taking from her. It's not the Republicans who took her Medicaid, it's the brown people. That's why Republicans will still do what they do. They will, they get away with it because they realize what they're dealing with. They know that the people will always vote for them if they promise to be as racist as they are. They promise them racism. They promise them. That's the only thing they offer them. Hating on the minority group du jour. So in 1890, Mississippi adopted a new constitution with a poll tax, an arbitrary literacy test. The new constitution was a setback for the democratic process and marked the end of a period where African Americans were the majority of eligible voters in Mississippi. Until the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the 24th Amendment partly addressed the injustices by securing voting rights for citizens of all races and genders and prohibiting poll taxes at the federal level. So this is, let me see. The 1890 law had a significant impact on the voting rights of Black Americans. The law, enacted during a period of intense racial discrimination, introduced provisions such as the poll tax and literacy test, which were designed to disenfranchise African Americans and poor whites. The law included a provision that disqualified individuals convicted of specific felonies from voting, with the chosen crimes being those believed to be more likely committed by Black people. And this is why this is still on the books, and this is still being used to disenfranchise Black voters. This led to a substantial reduction in the number of Black voters, effectively preventing them from exercising their right to vote. And the law's legacy continues to affect Black voting rights, with a significant number of Black individuals being blocked from voting due to the provisions in this 1890 law. But this is what Republicans have been doing in general through, reaching into our sordid past and pulling out not just laws against people of darker pigment, but they pull laws against women having, rights over their bodily autonomy. Yikes, oh yikes, oh yikes. Okay, what time is it? This is what we're dealing with. But are you white? One other thing. Not one other. It never stops. The complete debasement of the Republican Party is, I don't know. Is it complete? Will it ever stop? Let me show you something that I cannot take. See, Republicans, as we know, they are an authoritarian death cult, and Well, here's some clips of Traitor Trump praising Viktor Orban.
There's a great man, a great leader in Europe, Viktor Orban.
Recently.
He's
Isn't he a piece of shit?
He's the Prime
saying it.
Minister of Hungary. He's a very great leader, very strong man. Some people don't like him because he's too strong.
He's too
It's nice to have a strong
strong.
man running your country. He's a very,
Can you believe
very
it?
tough
It's
man.
nice to have a strong man running your country. They're saying the quiet part out loud.
Viktor Orban. Have you ever heard of him? He's the
Yes,
Prime Minister
we
of Hungary.
love him.
Right, good. Prime Minister of Hungary. And,
They want
he's
an authoritarian
he's a tough man, strong man,
to
very
destroy
respected.
America.
If you look at what Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, said, he said, bring Trump back. Everything worked when Trump was there.
Everything worked. It all worked. It did? What worked? Bring Trump back. Everything worked. They are openly saying, here's somebody from Right Wing Watch. Well, not somebody from Right Wing Watch got this video.
Did you tell him to go scorched earth? I would have told him, I'd be like, President Trump, I want you to throw Hillary Clinton in Gitmo, Obama in Gitmo, just all of them. Just like clean out the federal government and send them to Guantanamo Bay and like see ya. And I hope he goes full dictator, scorched earth, catapulting illegals over the wall. Like that would be awesome.
How
But I don't know
horrible
if he's
these
gonna do it.
people are? Catapulting illegals over the wall. See, this is why they don't want to. We're not a racist country, right? Right, Nikki? This is why they don't want to accept the deal, the border deal that, the Senate Republicans are telling these maggots in the House to accept. They don't want to accept it because they want to have the photos of all their racist maggots pointing at things and, hurting the migrants. They want people to be murdered. They want them to drown in the Rio Grande. But she's saying it. Her name is Lauren Witzke. We've played some clips of her before. She's a horrible human being. She's an America hater. She is, of course, a Christian, a good Christian who, Jesus said, when I was a stranger, you welcomed me. He didn't say, when I was a stranger, you catapulted me over the wall. Right? But that's who we're dealing with. These filthy fascists. And this is something called crosstalk. This guy here had a meeting with Trump. And this is what this woman is saying, this good Christian is saying. Did you tell him to go full scorched earth? I want you to throw Hillary Clinton in Gitmo. For what? Don't worry, you don't need any reason. Obama in Gitmo. Don't need a reason. Just all of them. That's our president. He didn't try to organize a coup. He didn't lie to the American people about some election being stolen. He didn't want to stay in the White House when he served his 8 years. He respected the peaceful transfer of power to a filthy, disgusting parasite. I wish he had stayed. No, but he wouldn't because, Democrats, normal people, patriots, respect the American experiment. Clean up the federal government, meaning create an authoritarian dictatorship and send them all to Guantanamo. And then I hope he goes full dictator, scorched earth, catapulting illegals over the wall. That would be awesome, she says. She's a Christian. Aren't these horrible people? Aren't they filth? And who have no shame? They should be embarrassed. But they're racist. Oh, no, we're not a racist country. We're not racist. They are. We're not. I mean, we're trying to be better. They're so racist, they think there's nothing wrong with it. they think they're the ones being discriminated against when they're not allowed to violate our laws that they're being picked on. But they live in an alternate reality. I mean, they have no decency. They have no dignity anymore. They are in the cult. This is an irredeemable cult. I've been saying it forever. The Republican Party has no redeeming qualities. It needs to be legally and peacefully shoved into history's trash bin once and for all. And, like, for example, here's Elise Stefanik, who I really hate with legally and peacefully, with the heat of 1,000 blazing suns. And they ask her, like the rest of, Republicans, they excuse the fact that Trump, and this is what needs to be said, Trump is a rapist. He's been convicted of sexual assault not by Joe Biden, just like the rest of the 91 indictments. It's by the American people. A grand jury of American citizens saw evidence and convict and, decreed or whatever, handed down indictments. And in the case of Trump's trial against, now he never stops defaming E. Jean Carroll. He raped her. Now he's raping her in the court of public opinion, and the maggots. He's turning his maggot mob against her because they hate America and they're incapable of living in a free democratic society. They only know violence. They only love violence, like catapulting people over a wall and, just like all fascists. But anyway, they asked Elise Stefanik about his sexual assault. What about that?
How do you grapple with standing by his side while a jury is debating how much to award E. Jean Carroll for being sexually abused by Donald Trump?
These are witch hunts against President Trump.
It's a witch hunt.
The media is so biased. This is just another example of the media being...
Why not believe E. Jean Carroll? It's not me. It's not the media. It's a jury that found that he sexually abused E. Jean Carroll.
That's right.
Again.
Next
the media
question.
is so out of touch with the American people.
The media is out of touch. No, the jury handed down indictments, and then the case was heard, and it was in a civil trial. The jury found that he sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll, and that they couldn't say rape. Well, it was, even though the judge later clarified that he is a rapist. But technically, by New York law, there was supposedly or something. It was because they couldn't definitively tell if it was his penis or his finger, because he's got a smaller than average penis, as Stormy said. But they're just on this knee-jerk remote. When you say anything true, you go, media, fake news. No, not media, fake news. The jury of our peers in a nation of laws that you pretend to respect. Of course you don't, because look at your standard bearer. Look at who you're debasing yourself for. But it's not just this bitch Elise. Here's Nikki Haley. The same question was asked.
Feel about your party's front runner being held liable for sexual abuse?
I mean, first of all, I haven't paid attention to his cases, and I'm not a lawyer. All I know is that he's innocent until proven guilty.
He's been
and when he's proven
guilty
and he's sitting in a courtroom, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You've got investigators.
I'm talking about it. I refuse to believe. He's innocent until proven guilty. Well, he's been proven guilty. It's already done. It's done and dusted. He's guilty. But I'm not a lawyer. I can't say anything. I refuse. Just like I refuse to believe reality. I refuse to believe what's true and right in front of my freaking eyes. Even though I'm running against this con man. I refuse to say anything about him. Because why? I don't know. These people it's just pathological. It's disgusting. They are irredeemable.
On Trump and Biden.
But a lot of people...
Trump and Biden. See, they're both in court. Trump and Biden. Biden's not she's trying to make the both sides. Biden isn't found guilty for rape. Like your con man. He's not in court with 91 indictments in 4 jurisdictions for cheating on his taxes, for, lying, for a history, for decades of lies that inflated the size of his apartment when he wanted a loan and deflated it when he was supposed to pay taxes that he didn't because he's a parasite. And then the classified documents case that he refused to return the classified documents. And then the, what else? January 6th. And, the E. Jean Carroll case. Because he can't shut his traitor, rapist, filthy, con man, America-hating lie hole.
Talking about, you've got investigations on Trump and Biden.
But a lot of people, forgive me, but...
What investigations on Biden? Oh, that's the bullshit that the Republicans are stirring up in the House because, Trump told them to. Oh, sweet Jesus. All right, listen, guys. We're going to... Yes, exactly. Haiku on the chat. I refuse to believe I won't be getting a cabinet seat. Exactly. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. All right, listen, guys. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. And we will meet back here on Friday. In the meantime, if you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. You can join. I don't know if the memberships are going yet. I gotta get those emojis and stuff up there. Keep the show going and growing. Check out APS Radio News. Thank you, Charlie, for your support of the show and of the community cats. It means a lot. I cannot do it without you. But remember, we will win. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. Thank you, Haiku, for being a moderator in the chat. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you all for hanging out. My name is Tara Devlin. Tell your friends to come and hang out with us on Friday night.